They didn't just hate him, they threw him into a pit. Before you give up on your dream, before you believe that what God showed you will never happen, watch what God did with a boy they threw away. They didn't just hate him, they didn't just mock him, they stripped him, betrayed him, and threw him into a pit. And for a long time, God said nothing. There was a young boy named Joseph. He was not the strongest, not the oldest, not the most experienced, but he was chosen. His father loved him differently, not quietly, not secretly, but openly. And one day, his father placed something on him, a coat. Not just any coat, a coat of many colors, a sign of favor, a mark of destiny. But what looked like love to his father looked like pride to his brothers. And then Joseph made a mistake. He told them his dreams. I saw the sun, the moon, and 11 stars bowing to me. From that moment, their hatred was no longer hidden. One day, his father sent him to check on his brothers. Joseph went, not knowing he was walking into betrayal. From a distance, they saw him coming, and before he even arrived, they were already planning his end. Here comes the dreamer. Let's kill him and see what becomes of his dreams. But instead of killing him, they chose something worse. They stripped him, tore off the coat, the very symbol of his destiny, and threw him into a pit, cold, alone, abandoned. Joseph cried out, but the voices above him were not voices of mercy. They sat down and ate, as if his life meant nothing. Then they sold him for 20 pieces of silver to strangers, to a distant land, to Egypt. His own blood chose money over him, and God was silent. Joseph arrived in Egypt, a slave. No family, no name, no freedom. But even there, God was with him. He was sold to a man named Potiphar, and something unusual began to happen. Everything Joseph touched prospered. From a slave, he became trusted. From nothing, he rose again. Until one day, he was put in charge of everything. But favor always attracts opposition. Potiphar's wife saw him, desired him, and when Joseph refused, she lied, she accused him, and just like that, everything he built collapsed again. Joseph was thrown into prison, not for what he did, but for what he refused to do. Have you ever done the right thing and still suffered? Have you ever obeyed God and still lost everything? That was Joseph. Dark cell, chains, silence. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. Months into years. But Joseph did something powerful. He stayed faithful. Even in prison, he served. Even in chains, he believed. And God gave him a gift. He could interpret dreams. 2 prisoners came to him, a cupbearer and a baker. Joseph told them what their dreams meant, and it happened exactly as he said. Before the cupbearer left, Joseph made one request: remember me. But when the cupbearer was restored, he forgot him. 2 more years in silence. At this point, most people would have given up. But Joseph had something his brothers couldn't steal: a covenant with God. Then, one night, Pharaoh had a dream. A troubling dream. No one could explain it. Not the wise men, not the magicians, no one. And suddenly, the cupbearer remembered. There is a man in prison. He can interpret dreams. Joseph was called, dragged out of the dungeon, from darkness into light, standing before Pharaoh, a king. And Pharaoh said, "I hear you can interpret dreams." Joseph replied, "It is not me, but God." And in that moment, God stepped in. Joseph revealed the meaning: 7 years of abundance, followed by 7 years of famine. And then he gave wisdom, preparation, strategy, vision. Pharaoh was stunned. In a single moment, everything changed. Pharaoh said, "Can we find anyone like this man, in whom is the Spirit of God?" And just like that, the prisoner became a ruler, second in command over all of Egypt. The same hands that were bound in chains now held authority. The same man who was thrown in a pit now had nations bowing before him. Years later, the same brothers who betrayed him stood before him, bowed down, just like the dream. And Joseph said something powerful: "What you meant for evil, God turned for good." Listen carefully. Your pit is not your end. Your betrayal is not your burial. Your delay is not your denial. It is preparation. Because when God steps in, no one can stop what He has already written. If you've ever felt forgotten, if you've ever been betrayed, if life has ever thrown you into a pit, type Joseph in the comments and share this with someone who needs to hear this today. God has not forgotten you. And if you want more stories like this, where ancient truth comes alive, subscribe now, because your faith deserves to see what it believes.
The quiet hum of that afternoon, gone too fast like a fading tune.